All right, let's fix that. There we go. Good day, everyone. Good day. Welcome to Morning Sip with Red Melissa. I am Red Melissa. SIP stands for Spirit and Practice, where we practice because practice makes progress. Yes, it does. So I hope everyone is doing well. Welcome to today's SIP. We are in our routine series, which we started yesterday. And I shared yesterday that routine is very present for me because I'm paying deeper attention to it and how I am using it to make commitments to my morning and my evening routines. So, yesterday we were talking about this, and the origin of the word routine comes from the word route. And part of the origin of the word route is to set a path for. And I really love that when I think about how I'm organizing my day and my evening, that I am setting a path for. And the example that I shared yesterday was around resting, and that I'm setting a path for rest and restoration. And so my routine needs to complement that. My routine needs to support that. Yes? So we're going to continue. And some things came up yesterday that I just want to highlight again. So, one of the things that Linda shared that I loved was that part of her process of her routine includes discernment, it being adaptable, and having variations. And so Linda has found what works for her. Bonnie shared that having a routine for her, what would the elements that would be important, what she is setting a path for, let's put it that way, is flexibility and adaptability. And I love that as well. So we each get to decide to set a path for what works best for us, right? So I can't tell you what you should set, what your path should be set for. I don't know your life, right? So you get to discern what that path is for you when you are establishing a routine. So, one of the things that came up yesterday that I said I would follow up with today, and that is the nuance, let's call it the nuance of schedules, habits, and how that relates to routine. So that's what we're going to unpack today. So I did some research, just a sip, y'all. I'm just giving you a sip. And so at first glance, schedules, habits, and routines can sound like the same thing, right? Like we could use them interchangeably, but they really are different things. So they are actually different layers of how we organize our lives, different layers of how we organize our energy and even our consciousness. So we're going to unpack this today. So I love this definition of routine that I found Googling. A routine is the harmony between your schedule and your habit. A routine is the harmony between your schedule and your habits. Don't that feel good? That feels good. Because oftentimes when we think about these things, routine, habits, schedules, it could feel a little heavy. It could feel like something we do not want to be engaged in. We don't want to spend any intentional time focusing on. But when you think about it harmonizing, that our schedules and our habits harmonize with our routine, it feels open, right? It feels inviting. At least it does for me. So we shared yesterday, a routine is a consistent pattern, right? It is also a rhythm that we establish that we can trust. We can trust in our routine, and our routine can trust in us. So it really is establishing a way for your day to flow, right? I don't like days that feel forced or days where it feels like my day is working me and I'm not working my day. You ever have those kind of days where everything is just being thrown at you and you're like, wait a minute, this wasn't my day. Whose day is this? You ever have those kind of days? Yeah. So our routine helps us to establish a relationship that is in the flow and that is not forced. So let's look at the nuance of schedule. So, schedule is in the family of structure and even systems, right? So, many times it's not, if I love, what's his name? James Clear, I think. He wrote Atomic Habits. And he talks a lot about establishing systems, right? The way that we establish a habit is by creating systems that work for us. So, a schedule. What is a schedule when we think about it in the context of a routine? So, a schedule is something that is external. Yes? It's the container, it's the framework. You could think of it as the scaffolding of your day, right? It's what's holding up your day. So a schedule answers these questions. When will I do this? Where will I do this? And for how long will I do this? So that is the elements of a schedule. When, where, and how long. So here are some examples. I meditate. When? 7 a.m. Where? In my office. For how long? 20 minutes. Okay? So a schedule is something that is intentional and requires decision making. I make the decision that I am meditating at 7 a.m. in my office for 20 minutes. I have made that conscious decision, right? And it does require discipline and it does require effort on my part. It just doesn't happen all by itself. So I am involved in my schedule. So the strength of a schedule, I love this. A strength of a schedule creates order, clarity, and alignment. It is how we consciously design our lives instead of letting life design us. And this is why having a morning spiritual practice is so important because your spiritual practice sets the foundation. It lays out the flow of the day through you. So, our schedule is another way, another element of order, clarity, and alignment, right? So, if you want to look at the limitations of a schedule, this is what I found to be some of the limitations. If it stays only as a plan, it doesn't change your life. A schedule without embodiment is just a good idea on a calendar. So, what does that mean? That means we have to take action with our schedule. I've worked with people in my spiritual coaching business where they could plan until kingdom come. But then I say, okay, so what did you do? What did you take action in? They want to stay talking about their plans, what they planning to do. That's not an effective schedule. Your schedule is the indicator. It's kind of like the preview of the action that you are planning to take, and you take it at the scheduled time, at the appointed time. So when I say when, where, and how long, when 7 a.m. meditating, where my office, how long 20 minutes, I could put that on my schedule. Yes. I could plan to do that. Yes. But guess what? I have to actually do it. Isn't that ain't magic, y'all? That ain't magic. So this is what we get to do. So that's schedule. I hope that has provided some clarity, some nuance in how that relates to routine. But we're going to keep going now with habit, right? So I highly recommend, I just mentioned it, Atomic Habits by James Clear. So what's a habit? A habit becomes the automatic pattern, right? It's something that we do automatically at some point without even thinking about it. Like we automatically breathe. We hopefully automatically brush our teeth at least once a day. We automatically hopefully go to bed every day. So we have a lot of things biologically that we automatically do, right? So just like schedule answers questions, so does habit. And these are the questions that habit answers. What do I naturally do? What feels normal to me? What do I do without resistance? Now, it may take some time for you to get to the place where it feels natural, normal, and without resistance by practicing, because we know that practice makes progress. So when we want a habit to be formed, we know that, again, we must be engaged in it for it to become our natural state of being, something that we normally will do without fussing about it. And sometimes the not fussing about it, that might not ever come. So maybe we fuss about it less and less. I'm trying to think of a habit that I have established that I still fuss about. I can't think of one right now. So, but y'all know what I'm saying. So habits are formed through repetition, and if you can attach it to some emotional association, that's even better. So my habit, because TM, Transcendental Meditation, has become a habit for me. It's something that I naturally do. It feels normal to me, and I have no resistance to it whatsoever, right? And so the emotional association of Transcendental Meditation for me is peace and joy and just centeredness, non-judgment. That's a big one for me with TM, that there's no judgment about it whatsoever. So when we can marry those two, the repetition with the emotional association, we are setting ourselves up for success. We are supporting ourselves. So here are some examples. And these are habits that some of us may need to shift. You wake up and automatically reach for your phone. Who has a habit of doing that? You wake up and the first thing you go for is the phone. A habit that I just mentioned, you brush your teeth without even thinking about it. Hopefully, hopefully you're brushing your teeth, right? The habit of your spiritual practice, of sitting down to pray or meditate, it becomes a habit. It becomes something that you just simply do. It's just part of the way that you are made up now. It's part of your makeup. So we can see that some habits don't serve us well, like waking up and picking up your phone. Or I was I was watching the monks, the Walk for Peace monks. I love them so much. And speaking of them, today, this afternoon, they're doing a meditation. I think it starts at 4:30, and it's going to be live stream on Facebook. It's going to be amazing. I already know that it is. But they're doing a lot of closing ceremonies today, I think starting at 2:30. So if you've been following the monks, their Walk for Peace, love them. Check out the closing ceremonies today and the meditations. Sidebar. Why did I say that? Why did I bring up the monks? Okay, I don't know. I guess I just wanted to share it. So maybe because I mentioned meditation. Anyway, let's move on, Melissa. So the strength of a habit is that once it's formed, once it's been submitted, it just requires you to continue to do it, right? So it's not even about one of the things I was reading, it was talking about how once a habit is formed, it doesn't require any willpower. And you'll know how I feel about willpower. It's about willingness, not about willpower. It's just one of those words for me, like motivation. It's not about motivation, it's about inspiration. So leave will alone is what I say about willpower, and just having a willingness to show up, a willingness to repeat and be in the repetition of it until it becomes normalized in your life is all that is required. They often talk about how a habit becomes your default setting. So some have a default setting where they get into bed and they turn on the television because they need something on. But you could turn other things on. It doesn't have to be the television. You could turn on music. You could turn on those beats, those high frequency beats that have loving subliminal messages in them. You could turn that on. There's so many other things we could turn on than the TV, is what I'm saying. But some have a habit of that. They just have it on in the background, like for company or something. Not the best habit to form, because things seep in. It's all energy, right? So we want uplifting habits to form as our default setting. Okay, so I think those are the elements I wanted to share about schedule and habit. And let me close with this. A schedule is what you plan. So what is your schedule for today? It's what you plan and what you take action, because planning is not enough. A habit is what you do, right? A habit is what you do. And a routine is what becomes your way of being. I'll say that again. A schedule is what you plan. A habit is what you do. And a routine is what becomes your way of being. So I am establishing a routine of rest and restoration as example, as my state of being. What is my state of being? My state of being is rest. So we could start from there and work our way back. What habit do I need to develop to have a state of rest? And what habit do I need to develop? And what schedule do I need to create that supports that habit of rest, that supports a routine that is a state of peace? So, whatever it is for you, you decide what your state of being is, create a routine, develop habits, and schedule all of that so that it is in alignment. So, we're going to continue tomorrow with how all of this impacts creating a effective routine, because sometimes our routines are not effective, or we might have a routine that may not be the best for us. So we're going to explore that tomorrow. So I hope that was good for you. I hope I share something that you can apply, maybe have you considering schedule, habit, and routine in a different way, that you can relate to it in a more open and inviting way for yourself as well. All right, so we're going to get into some joy news. Let me just check in with y'all first. Good day, M. Brown. It's good to see you. Watch the replay of episode 1 yesterday. Yes, good. I hope that you enjoyed that. So we're going to continue with the routine series this week. Pamela, good day, Fee. It's good to see you. Fee said, amen, not letting life design us. That's right. That's right, Fee King. And that there is a difference between talking and doing. Yes, no brainer, right? Yes. I do my best, Fee, not to fuss. I really do. And we are in a complaint fast this month of February. So those of you who are in the 30-day mental diet class, we are taking February as our complaint fast month. We're just loving. And if you want to join in, it's not too late. It's just the 11th. You still have, a whole bunch of days. So no complaining. Good. And Brown, he or she does not grab that phone upon waking up. Wonderful. And that made me think about why I brought up the monks. One of the monks was sharing, because they do these talks while they're walking. They make stops and they do like a little talk, and they're wonderful. If you haven't seen them, go to their social media, Walk for Peace. So one of them was talking about our phones, and he was referring to the phone as our lovers. And it was so cute. So he was like, you need to put your lover in another room. And he said, and stop taking your lover with you in the bathroom. He was really cute. So I agree with that monk 100%. Good stuff, Reb. I have to turn off the TV at night. It impedes my sleep. Yes, turn off the TV. Yes, and Brown, let's do that. Turn it off. Turn off all those devices. They say at least 2 hours before bedtime, just to give your system time to decompress. Yes? All right. So I'm going to leave it right there. I'll share some joy news tomorrow for the weekend. So have a wonderful today. I am Red Melissa. If you need support, I am here. I am a spiritual life coach and interfaith minister. I support people in transforming their lives by being in action in their lives, by living life in joy and connecting to your yes. So if you need support with putting your purpose in action, reach out to me. You can send me a direct message at I am Red Melissa on social media, Facebook and Instagram. All right, y'all. Bravo. Thank you, love. So have a wonderful today. Peace and blessings, everybody. Peace and justice. We are living life in joy, connected to our yes.